What do you think the reason is that people get into bad contracts?
I think they get excited.
Yeah, for sure get excited.
They're like, dude, I got this customer, man.
Yeah.
I got it, finally. And you're like, well, like, can we clean for 2 weeks for free? And if you like it, then you'll sign a contract.
Dude.
That's a terrible one.
How many times have I heard that from
Hundreds.
well, franchisees who say, why can't we? Or clients, like consulting clients, or community folks who are, running janitorial companies that are just saying, like, hey, I talked to this company and like I really like them and they really like us, so they want to do a 30-day trial before they'll sign a contract. Okay, so if there was a red flag,
That would be a huge
that's
like your building's on fire.
Yeah, we're flying a major red flag on that one.
And there's a whole lot of legalities. I always try to tell people when they do that is like, not only that is if something happens and you don't have a signed contract, and let's say you accidentally burn the building down.
Yeah.
Your insurance company's going to be like, well, let me see the signed contract. Oh, we don't have one because I was doing a 30-day trial.
Right.
Okay, great. I'm not contracted to protect you then legally. Enjoy your 30-day trial.
Well, and if you're going to do a 30-day trial, then put it in writing, have a contract, have all the same, protection, have them sign that, and have them sign that, and then do a 12-month or a multi-year contract after that. But, a lot of it is just, I always ask them, why are you even accepting it? One, you should have enough faith in your business and in your offering that you should be able to say, no, I'm not signing, or I'm not going to agree to a 30-day or a 60-day trial.
And that's the hardest time anyways. The first 30 days, you got to buy equipment, you got to onboard people.
Yeah, there's a lot of expenses that go into it. So I would say that, one of the first questions is, what are common red flags to look for in commercial cleaning contracts, and how can you address them proactively? So number one is what we just said. There is no service without a contract, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a contract. And whether that be a 30-day, 60-day, or that be whatever it is, there has to be something in writing that's legal. And if there isn't, it's done.
But yeah, you walk away.
Big one. That's a big one.
Because then they have no grounds to pay you a dime.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a quasi-contract thing legally. I get it.
Yes.
But good luck trying to collect that. And usually it's small accounts, like $700.
Right. And the other reason why people choose to let that happen is, one, they don't have any confidence in their business, right? Two, they get excited. And three, they really need the money.
Or they just overshare. I'm new in the business. You're going to be my first account.
That's a bingo.
And they're like, well, I feel for this guy. We should just give him a try. Cause they're going to sit in a conference room with other people like, you know what? Let's just give this guy a flyer.
Yeah, let's give him a chance.
Yeah.
And really what they're saying is, let's give him a chance, and we're probably going to get a lot more for our money than with them than we will with someone else, because we can take advantage of them. Even though they're not saying that. That's kind of the conversation.
They're saying it behind those doors.
Yeah, they're saying it in the conference room when you leave.
Yeah.
So that would be a major red flag for sure. The other ones that I would say is that when clients start wanting to take things out of your contract. So let's start with the foundation stuff. What needs to be in a contract that are hard and fast, cannot be taken out? What are the things that have to be in it?
So terms and conditions, what are we doing? How many days a week for what you're going to pay? There's a lot for me. When your payment's due.
Yep.
Right?
So terms of payment.
Yeah. If you do not pay, what recourse do you have?
Right.
And what recourse do we have? Right? We don't perform services. What recourses do you have? If you don't pay, what recourse do we have? And then late fees.
So late fees are kind of a funny thing. Legally, depending on the state that you're in, you really can't charge them.
We never do.
Well, when we can't in California, because that's actually not allowed. But what you can do is say that if you don't pay by a certain date, that you will stop service, and that service stop is your way to get paid, basically. And then there's going to be, if it requires legal fees to collect these monies, then you're going to have to pay those legal fees and all these.
And all that has to be in there.
That all has to be in the contract.
And then how do you get out of the contract?
Correct. How do you get out of
both sides? How do you get out of the contract? Is they don't want to be like, well, they didn't want to clean for me, so peace. They just didn't clean. Your customer wants to be protected on that, and then you want to be protected on the same thing. You don't want to come in today and be like, oh, sorry, Matt, you don't clean here anymore.
Right. The other thing, too, is the renewal clauses, right? So, and then we'll get into some of the optional things. But that I still think are important. But the renewal clause is it an evergreen contract? So does it roll over automatically if you don't get to renewal, to the actual like signing of a new contract? And we'll speak on that in a minute. Or is it a required renewal, right, at 12 months? Personally, I think that like we've done both evergreen forever, right? Because, well, at least we know that it's going to roll over and we're still in a contract and yada, yada.
And when there's hundreds and hundreds of accounts, you're like,
yeah,
it could be costly having someone go to a $350 account to get a renewal.
Right. So I would recommend that you do have that, but you should also have an option to say that either party can renew after that 12-month period. Like there should be something in some language in there that's going to state that, because you're going to want to renegotiate, right? Especially with the climate that we're in right now, where inflation is continuously rising beyond the 3%. I just heard yesterday that inflation, we're in the holiday season right now, went up more again. And there's reasons for it and so on. But so you want to be careful not to get locked in. In fact, I just had a customer, a prospect, who asked one of our salespeople if we could write into their contract that we guarantee that we won't raise their contract more than 3% next year, that we have to write it in. And that was a major red flag for me. I was like, no, I'm not doing that, right? So because,
especially a new contract, what if you go in and they want more than you have, than you're willing to do? And that they first said when you first negotiated the contract price. I mean, it's
right.
And I always say you really can't add in things. And really, you want to not add in or take out. You want to say, like, can we negotiate? Is this okay with you or not?
Right.
This is how we do business.
So some of the optional things, hiring, having a clause in that contract that says you won't hire my employees. This happens, especially in larger accounts where, somebody may want to go in-house at some point. So they hire a contractor. That contractor works for 2 or 3 years, and then they let them go, and then they offer employment to all of the people who are there. Now, in California, if you have over 50 employees in a building, I think there are 25.
25, yeah.
There's a law that protects agencies, subcontractors, contractors, and so on to actually offer those positions. So it just depends on the state you're in, so you need to keep an eye on that. But that's an optional one, is to put in that you will not hire my employees. And if you do, there's some kind of clause, right? But ultimately, contract law states that no contract is legal unless it's legal. So you need to do your due diligence, see what state you're in, talk to your attorney about all of your contracts. But definitely, I would say, a red flag, would be, looking at major red flag is you don't have a contract, you don't have any legal, you have no legal document. So you need to have that. So now that we have all these things in it, it's about the things that people ask us to change. So we talked about a couple of them already, like just do a 30-day trial, etc. Other things that I've seen are people saying that there's no termination clause. I see your clause says 30 days. We want to be able to terminate whenever. And that's an absolute no. Just walk away.